You may have heard of the term the Adpocalypse. Sounds scary, doesn't it? It's a term coined by YouTubers for YouTube and Google's decision to essentially slash the advertising revenue that creators can make from ads that play in front of their videos. And that is essentially, in case you don't know, how YouTubers make money. Now, why has this happened? Well, around 6 months ago, essentially, the TV, kind of proper TV channels and networks pointed out to advertisers that videos or adverts were being played in front of controversial videos. So, for example, you may have a Coca-Cola advert playing in a KKK video. Now, the advertisers don't want to be associated with anything controversial. So they have essentially pulled their advertising, and a lot of advertisers pulled out of YouTube because they did not want to be associated with any type of controversial content, as there's no real kind of nothing stopping you from uploading anything on YouTube. So YouTube obviously started to lose a lot of money, and to allay the fears of the advertisers and trying to prove to the advertisers that YouTube is a viable place to advertise, they have put some quite extreme measures in to try and make or try to identify any potential videos that may have some kind of controversy in them. Now, initially, I think for the large part, the film industry was relatively unaffected. I mean, I had a couple of videos that were flagged, but only kind of like 2 or 3. It wasn't a big deal, to be honest. But I know there had been certain videos that were, about politics and things like that that got flagged, and channels got hit heavy for it. However, how does this relate to the horror community? Well, on the 7th of August, YouTube released another algorithm, and this one was particularly aggressive in identifying types of videos that included certain words, phrases, images, any type of iconography, which we'll come on to in just a second. And they've actually rolled out another kind of algorithm which apparently makes it, air quotes, easier for creators to appeal decisions, but at the same time they've made it far more aggressive in demonetizing videos to begin with. Now, I'll also point out that it's a double hit. When you demonetize a video, it affects its kind of trending possibilities. So a video won't trend high, basically, if it's demonetized, unfortunately. So it makes it also harder to grow your channel, let alone get money for the videos. So, like I said, I had a few videos that were kind of flagged within the last 6 months, whatever, doesn't matter. However, on the 15th of August, about a quarter of my videos switched to being demonetized. And it isn't just me. Speaking to a couple of other YouTubers just this evening that do similar stuff to me, horror-related, reviews, unboxings, things like that, a lot of them have been demonetized as well. Now, I'll point out that I don't do this channel as a job. This is a hobby, first and foremost, for me. I actually do work as I have a full-time job, nothing to do with this. But this is just a hobby for me. But it's nice to get rewarded for the work that I put into the channel and, get a little bit of money back that I simply just use as spending money to buy my various Blu-rays and bits and pieces that I kind of like to show you once a month or so. And obviously now that is going to be obviously decreased. Not a massive deal to me, to be honest with you. I'd rather it was there than not. But nonetheless, you do feel kind of slightly undervalued, I have to say. But obviously this is going to affect, obviously, the bigger channels that actually do this for a living a lot more than relatively small channels like mine. So let's look at a little bit further. Why are these kind of videos getting flagged? How do they find out? So when you have a look at why videos are getting flagged, there's a number of reasons, and some of them are relatively obvious. Hate speech, racism, sexism, stuff like that, basically. However, a couple of ones I do want to point out. Controversial content. This one has hit me quite a lot because it basically deals with anything that involves conflict. Now, any videos that I have that have war films have got flagged. They're no longer monetized. I'm doing this kind of series at the moment, which is reviewing a Vietnam conflict TV show called Tour of Duty from the 80s. They're all demonetized. So basically, a lot of action movie reviews I've done demonetized because they feature words that are synonymous with wartime and kind of violence and stuff like that, they are all now demonetized. Another one that I'll point out, I'm not going to go through all of the reasons, but the ones that kind of maybe relate to this channel or kind of similar channels. Swearing. Oh yes, swearing now will be demonetized. If you overly swear in your videos, or you have lots of kind of profanity, your video may well get flagged and demonetized. I personally try to keep swearing to an absolute minimum, because I try to like to have a level of professionalism when I do this, despite the fact that it's just a hobby, but nonetheless, so I don't tend to swear a lot in my videos, so that probably hasn't hit me, but I know there are reviewers that do kind of swear quite a lot. Nudity and any kind of like sexual behaviour, and you don't even have to show anything, bear in mind, this is just things that are in the description, things that are in your metadata, and this applies to all these categories, so you can just put porn, sex, boobs, whatever in the metadata, and chances are it's probably going to get flagged for inappropriate content. Now, the big one though is as it relates to violence. So when you have a horror related channel that has things in the title like demon, slasher, blood, gory, monsters, zombies, whatever, chances are that your video is going to get flagged for some kind of violence related, again, wording, images, sound bites, whatever. It can get flagged for all of those things. So a load of my horror reviews have been basically demonetized. Not all of them, but a lot of them. But also some other ones as well, some sci-fi, some action films, even a few comedies, have all been demonetized for this reason. So what can you do about it? Well, there is an appeal process. Basically, you'll see they have actually made a little button there that you can press to appeal decisions, but there is a couple of caveats. The main one, and this is going to be more for channels kind of my size rather than the bigger channels, is you can only appeal if the video has had 1,000 views within the last 7 days. Now, if you're looking at, for example, older videos of older films, for example, or not new releases, are they going to have 1,000 views? Some of them maybe, but not a lot of them within the last 7 days, to be honest. They'll probably get a few hundred if I'm lucky, but a lot of the older ones unlikely to get 1,000 videos in the last 7 days for this kind of obscure horror film that came out, you know, in 2014. Probably not going to get 1,000 views a week. So there's your problem. So you can only really appeal videos that have got 1,000 views within this kind of like the last 7 days. If you're a larger channel, if you're PewDiePies, your Zoellas, yeah, that's not going to be a problem, or even the kind of the medium-sized channels. But for the smaller channels, forget about it. You ain't going to be able to do it. Now, I have discovered there's a little back door that may help you to some degree. If you'll notice the actual wording of a video that is actually already published, it will actually state that you will only actually be able to appeal if it's got over 1,000 views within the last 7 days. However, if you upload a video but do not publish it straight away, and it does get flagged as basically being potentially potentially controversial, you can actually appeal it before you publish it, and they seem to be going through. I have appealed a few of my videos, and I'll come on to that in just a minute, but it doesn't, although it does say there's a caveat, it doesn't specify 1,000, and I have got decisions back on videos that have got no views. So my advice would be to upload your videos, but do not publish them. Leave it for a little while and see if they flag as being potentially controversial. At that point, do the appeal. Wait until the decision comes back. It does say it could take up to 7 days. I've normally had my appeals back, for some of them at least, within 24 hours. There are still some outstanding that I am waiting for. And in which case, if they agree to it, you can publish it and away you go. But at least then that will give you the option to appeal it. But obviously, if a video, has not got 1,000 views within the last 7 days, that's it. You can't do anything about it. At least not at the moment. And even then, even if you do appeal, that is no guarantee that your video is going to be monetized. So like I've said, I've actually appealed a bunch of videos basically already, and about a quarter of them have been approved. So still 3/4 of the videos that I've appealed and I've actually got decisions back for, 3/4 of them they've said no and are going to be demonetized, and that is it. And there's no reapplying as well. That's it. And I've got to say, it says on there that it is manually checked. And all I think is happening, because obviously there's probably hundreds of thousands of people doing this every kind of day. There's just going to be a couple of people just checking the thumbnail, or checking the description, the title, the metadata. I very much doubt they're actually looking through all of these videos. So unfortunately, I think you're going to see an increasing number of YouTubers simply leave YouTube because they're getting no reward for it. I do feel that there'll probably be another platform that will come forward and kind of really take advantage of this and end up being the platform of choice. I, for example, also upload my videos to VidMe. Now, that's a relatively new platform, and there's not a lot of people on there at the moment. But I think if you get in there early and you start kind of uploading your stuff, and obviously, and that platform gets more popular, you can ultimately be an early adopter. But at the moment, they don't actually play ads on there, and you rely on kind of like a Patreon donation system. But even then, you've got to be somewhat established. So what can we do? Well, that's a difficult situation. The only thing we can do is shout about it. So I'd ask you, if you are a creator and you have been hit by this, make your own video, shout about it, share this video and share other videos that also come out. And it's the only thing that we can do. If film companies who like to play trailers in front of these videos, that's a lot of the ads I get, trailers, find out that the actual audience that they're kind of trying to advertise for is pulling out of YouTube, I'm hoping that they will basically be able to maybe get Google and YouTube to have another look at their kind of their processes and realise that this kind of algorithm, and it's only getting worse, unfortunately, is basically just pushing out the little man, basically pushing out the smaller YouTubers. However, I've got to say, unfortunately, I do think that is actually Google's plan. They want to turn YouTube into essentially a TV alternative, and it wants to primarily serve reality TV and stuff like that and the bigger networks, and it doesn't really care if it has to stomp over smaller creators basically to be able to do so. It's a sad state of affairs, but all we can do is try. So try and get this message across, share this video. If you see any other videos that are similar to this, share it, and maybe someone will start paying attention. Anyway, thanks for watching, and bye for now.